Oh hey everybody, we're back. New video. I'm gonna show you guys how to make pico. In my last video, I had some pico de gallo for my meal prep. So I figured I may as well make a video. It's really easy, it'll be quick. I'll show you some knife techniques to make it easier to do. Ingredients, what do we got? I got 2 pretty decent sized jalapenos. I got 2 limes. I got about 10 Roma tomatoes. I use Roma tomatoes because they're easier to chop up and they're more consistent when it comes to size. 1 red onion. I use a red onion because the color looks cool. 1 head of cilantro that's looking a little wilty, but it doesn't matter, I don't care. All right, so onions, they're pretty easy. You'll cry a little bit, it's fine. I just cut off the end, cut off this end as well. You don't need to cut off that much, you just need it to sit flat. I cut it in half, just peel this first layer off. Get off. Bam. See this little white piece right here? That's annoying, so I actually cut that out. You got the guidelines of God right there. These lines, just follow them and don't cut all the way through. We're gonna make them decently small. Use your knuckle as a guide so you don't cut your finger off. Like that. Make 2 slits. Then same knuckle technique. Cut the onion. Then once it gets too skinny, put it down, chop it the rest of the way. All right, so for the tomatoes, there's a way of doing it that makes it easier and not so mushy. You got your Roma tomato, right? You're gonna cut it in half like that, right? Cut it again. Cut it again, we're cutting them into quarters. Take the knife like this, where the seeds are, and just cut it to the stem, put that to the side. It's okay if there's some seeds left, it's all right, it's cool. But ideally, that's what you want it to look like. And you're just gonna do this with all the tomatoes. And that is all of them cut up. Took me like, I don't know, 4 seconds. Because you can chop this stuff up if you want, that's fine. You can put it in there, that's cool. The only reason I don't is because if I do, all the seeds, it'll soak up and then the pico will get really wet, which is fine. But if you're making it last like a week, which I do for my lunches, I want it to stay as dry as possible. Not dry, but not soggy. This cuts down on the sogginess and makes it a lot easier for me to cut this. All right, the next step, take the tomato, lay it flat, chop them into some matchsticks, like so. Watch your fingers so you don't cut them off. Then take that, flip it sideways. Boom, now you're good. Now there's small dice, look at that, beautiful. And the more you do this, the faster you become at it, which is really good. And it doesn't take any time at all. All you gotta do is put on a nice podcast or something, you know, some Joe Rogan, and just make some pico. Cut up some tomatoes. And that is the last tomato. Took like 5 seconds. Speaking of 5 seconds, take 5 seconds, take 1 second. Click that subscribe button down in the corner. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And if you're not subscribed yet, hey, why not? It's easy. Thanks. Next up, jalapenos. You pretty much cut them the exact same way. You're gonna cut the top off, then you're gonna take it, slice it in half, like that. You could take a spoon and get all that out, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna take this knife and be very careful not to cut myself. And if you don't like spicy stuff, cut this out. It's the vein, and that's what makes it hot. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna cut these up separate. You could also put this in a food processor. If you wanted to be a cheat, I wouldn't recommend doing that because you know what? It's cheating. Do the exact same thing you did with the tomatoes and just chop them into little matchsticks like that. Firmly grasp them with your fingers and then bow. Little vein membrane stuff, I just kind of chop it up, roughly chop it. I'm not really worried about it being any particular shape. It's just gonna blend in at some point. Also, what you wanna do right after you're done chopping jalapenos is rub your eyes. Just go ahead and touch. Don't do that. It's really hot and it sucks really bad. Next up, we got the cilantro. I'm gonna use this entire bunch. You don't have to if you don't like cilantro that much. Better just chop it up. Just don't chop the stems. There's no real technique here. Just keep going. Keep going until it's uniformly small. All right, you could switch up this entire recipe by changing the herb that you put in this. This is just some random bull crap. Instead of cilantro, put basil, and instead of lime juice, put olive oil. And you'll have like an Italian bruschetta or whatever. All right, next up, the juice of 2 limes. Can you do that? Juice of 2 limes. Let's go. We rolling them. This is a great investment, by the way, a lime squeezer. Limes are good. Next up, we got a little kosher salt, a little black pepper. I'd say if you're not used to seasoning things, then take it easy, because you can always add more salt and more pepper. But I usually do like an even amount of both, because I like it. So let's get this mixed up. Here we go. This is it right here. Let's go. Now it's starting to come together. And there you have it. You got yourself some Pico. Gotta make sure it's salted properly. Needs a little bit more. See, we can always just re-salt it. Also, keep in mind, the longer it sits here, the more salt comes out of it. I don't know why. Don't ask me, but it just happens. So if you're tasting it, you're like, oh, needs more salt, needs more salt, needs more salt. In like an hour, it's gonna be too salty. So keep that in mind. There you have it, Pico. For whatever reasons, I use it for my meal prep. It's good to go. Ready for the chicken I'm gonna eat. But thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. See you guys in the next video where I show you my breakfast that I eat to stay semi not fat.